Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
Hello. 643. How you doing, Vinny? It's March 26th, Wednesday. It's opening day is tomorrow.
One day.
Yep.
So by the time everybody is hearing this, it will be the opening day. Opening day talk. So finally there. It's been a long day. So on this day though, back in 1979, we'll go ahead and start you with a real throwback. The Padres and Giants announced that the 1980 exhibition series between the two teams will be played in Tokyo. But Giants owner Bob Lurie leaves the decision up to players who then reject the agreement. So I just thought that was kind of interesting just because I didn't realize the Tokyo games went that far back. I guess they were rejected there, so I'm not really sure exactly what date. Maybe you know this one, what dates that the Tokyo series started. But I always thought it was kind of a somewhat newer thing. Maybe I've just missed it for a while, but it looks like it's been talked about since the 70s.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what year it first started. I know 2004-ish is when the Yankees it was the Yankees. I want to say it was either the Rangers or the Red Sox, or it might have been the Rays. Might have been the Devil Rays. And then 2008 was the A's and Red Sox, I believe. But I think it also went 90s too, but I can't remember exactly what teams. So we'll kind of have to look into, I guess.
Yeah, I thought I was like, oh, Tokyo back in the 80s. I just haven't really thought about it, but it'd be cool to go back and, I mean, this was obviously rejected, so probably happened after that, or maybe there's other series being played over there. This was Giants and Padres specifically, but would be cool to go back and watch some of those games.
Yeah.
And happy birthday to Michael Taylor. And
that boy.
And Christian Javier.
There we go.
I haven't heard much about him. What's going on with? Is he hurt right now? I've heard literally nothing about Christian Javier.
No, I haven't really heard much either.
Kind of, I just saw his name. It was his birthday, and I'm like, well, a couple years ago,
he was. Let's say.
Yeah, he was born in '97. He's pretty young still. I do remember him getting hurt. That's somebody I'll have to look into because he was a good little pitcher over there for the Astros for a little while.
Yeah.
So, but happy birthday. What kind of news do you have for us?
Yeah, so not a ton of news, but we'll give a few updates. Cal Raleigh, 6-year, $105 million extension with the Mariners. I'm not really surprised. I'm not surprised he stayed there. I think it's a good deal for the Mariners. I mean, 20 to 25 to 35 home run catcher. Yep. You know, for a catcher, that's good. So,
big old dumper.
I know as far as batting average goes, you're probably not going to get a whole lot, but still, for a catcher, big dumper, putting up 25 to 35 home runs. It's a switch hitting power. A switch hitting power catcher. Shades of Victor Martinez a little bit. Next one, Jordan Montgomery, Tommy John surgery. Another pitcher, unfortunately. I know the Diamondbacks for a while now have been looking for someone to in a trade for Jordan Montgomery. It doesn't look like that'll probably be happening now.
Yeah.
So he was good for he was good for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he had a really weird season last year, especially I think it all started with his contract. Didn't hit spring training at all, him or Snell. And then Snell ended up settling down, especially second half, which is usually his best. But Montgomery never found it at all. So now that he's hurt, it's really just been a bummer for Arizona and their fans. And I don't know, maybe they give Lance Lynn a call now.
Yeah, we'll see. Last thing I have, your guy, Cam Smith has made the Astros opening day roster, and I saw his reaction to it. It was pretty cool. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that out. But yes, Cam Smith, your guy, Vinny. How you feeling?
Oh yeah, his number. I mean, doesn't have a ton of playing time, but
No,
he seems to be like one of those guys, just like Jackson Merrill or Churio, that don't really. It's just something that they see, like when you know, I guess, type of talent. So, some people spend years and years down in the minors, and who knows how it'll play out for him. Maybe he'll come up and keep going where he left off, and just keep dominating, or things could, we see people get up to the majors all the time, and it's really hard for people to adjust. The levels are just so different. But yeah, I'm pumped to watch him. He's maybe another generational talent, and we'll be talking about him a little bit because I was able to snag him in fantasy.
you were, and we'll get into that in just a second. There actually was one more update. Evan Carter has not made the Rangers roster to start the season. He will begin the season in the minors. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, a little surprised. I didn't really pay attention to him spring training, so I don't know. Maybe I'm assuming he didn't have a good spring training. Nah, none of that yawning, man.
My bad.
Need to pop you a Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm about to.
No, I mean, maybe it'll work out that he's still pretty young too, and he's dealt with his own issues last season and kind of finding himself. That's a good example right there. Somebody he got brought up pretty quick, but somebody that dominated the minors and then came up and just couldn't really find it. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be up there at some point. I don't think he's going to be down unless he just cannot do anything at all in AAA. But yeah, I got faith in them, and now they got some of the other young guys. They're rocking with a lot of young players this year, with especially in their bullpen or in the rotation with Leiter and Kumar Rocker coming in. I'm super curious to see how they'll do. DeGrom back in the rotation. That'll be interesting. So I don't know. Everything could go right for the Rangers. All those pieces could work, or we'll see. But Texas teams, Houston and Rangers, I think they'll be both fighting for playoff spot for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and I'll mention a couple guys too that also made the roster. One of them I was incorrect on last week. I got it mixed up. I think I said Hurston Waldrop made rotation for Braves. So I meant that AJ Smith-Shawver. I think he ended up making that fifth rotation spot, and he'll probably be there until Strider gets back. Which Strider is just looking. This spring he was looking amazing. So can't wait to see him back. But AJ Smith-Shawver, I still have faith in him. He was big name for a while, first round talent, I believe. And another guy, which Angels are pretty well known for this, bringing guys up there as soon as possible, it seems. Whether they're ready or not, they get that opportunity. And they got a pitcher coming up named Ryan Johnson, and he's never even pitched a game in the minor leagues. So that'll be pretty interesting. He made opening day roster for him, so I think that's pretty sweet. The people that they have brought up and done that to, Nolan Shanuel and Ben Joyce. I mean, they've all, Ben Joyce throws so hard, and he's had his control issues, but they've all done fine. I think Christian Moore will probably be up before long. I don't think he made the opening day roster, but I'm sure he'll be up in no time. So pretty cool for the Angels and Angels fans. Just that's probably the biggest excitement they have going. They did make some trades and acquisitions, and they've already got some fun talent down there. Mike Trout no telling what he'll do this season. Hopefully we could get him for 150 games, but yeah, they still got a fun little team over there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have for right now on news. Speaking of Mike Trout, though, he did when we were doing our draft last night, which we'll get to here in a second. He did hit a home run, just a line shot, just right off the bat, Mike Trout home run. So expect to see many of those this season. Maybe a dark horse MVP runner.
I mean, it is Mike Trout.
Yeah, and also we will be doing we have some more predictions after towards the end of this, predicting Cy Youngs and managers and comeback players, and maybe we got our World Series predictions as well, who we think. But first, I guess we can go ahead and get started on our fantasy draft. You wanna go ahead and get your roster pulled up there and show us what you're working with?
Yeah. And then we'll get to yours. So I'll talk about who I originally kept and then who I drafted. So if you guys can see that okay. The guys I kept Wilson Contreras, Junior Caminero, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Jordan Lawler, Sandy Alcantara, Taj Bradley, Mackenzie Gore, Christopher Sanchez, and Felix Bautista. So I'll kind of give my thoughts on my team real quick. I love my pitching as of right now. If this stays healthy, as far as our league goes, I think I have the best bullpen. With Bautista coming back, we've seen what he can do on the field. Duran is still a really good relief pitcher. Munoz is one of the better closers in the game. Kirby Yates and Ryan Walker both had ERAs below 2 last year. So I expect a lot of the same. And we did our draft last night, so everybody that was playing for the Cubs or Dodgers that played in the Tokyo series, their stats were automatically put on here. So I got, Sasaki stats, Kirby Yates, Will Smith, Matt Shaw. A couple of these guys, Roman Anthony. I was glad I snagged him, and Victor Scott made the opening day roster. A couple of veterans, though. Trevor Story, healthy Trevor Story as of right now. Contreras, he'll have first base eligibility soon, so I went ahead and drafted Will Smith at a pretty good price. So, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's not very good, man. No, it's a really nice team, especially if your young players pull through. You do got a couple young guys, but the thing is, it's not like some people can look at this and be like, man, I don't know. I'm not talking about Roman Anthony or Lawler, but Victor Scott, James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Caminero, Shaw. But the difference is they all have positions. They're all full-time players. So they're not stuck down in the minors anymore. Those guys should be playing every single day. Dylan Cruz is, getting talks for rookie of the year. I think Victor Scott should be in that talk. I'm pretty sure he qualifies for rookie this year, right? Or did last year?
I don't think he was last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, same with Caminero, right? Would this be considered his rookie year? Or did he have already?
I think so. I don't think he. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think he played enough games last year, though. But I'll look into it.
My point is, though, I don't think any of those guys are going anywhere. I think they'll stay up there, and they're all future elite players. It's the next young generation of talent that's going to be, the next Tatis and Trout and Ohtani, like those types of players. Roman Anthony should be up in no time. A lot of people think he's still going to win AL Rookie of the Year. Jordan Lawler, he's still getting that talk. Still a little confused on why he didn't make the roster, but I do think he'll be up in no time. But yeah, speaking of bullpen though, yeah, you definitely have the best bullpen. Ryan Walker was disgusting last year. Kirby Yates is on the Dodgers. But Batista's back. I mean, yeah, Munoz he could, be probably maybe the best closer this season. And then obviously Duran. So yeah, and then I think you end up, so for people that don't know, this is a money draft too. So we have $250 total to spend. And each player is worth a certain price depending on, how many years you've had them or what you've drafted them for. They go up per year. And so, you got to be wise with your spending money and your value. So that's a big thing, is trying to get good players for cheap value if you can. But I know you got Bowden Francis for like what, $1 or $2?
$2. Yep.
Right. Yeah, and that's a steal. If he has another season and I'm like he did last season, if he gets better than that, I mean,
yeah,
and he's on. Yeah. So.
Yes. Snagged Sean Manaea at a decent price, and Ryan Pepio. So Pepio, if he can stay healthy, I see him being not an elite pitcher, but I still see him being a good enough pitcher for a fantasy team. And we'll kind of have to see more on Mackenzie Gore. He had a pretty decent year last year. It kind of seemed like his starts were either really good or they were a little shaky. So, and Taj Bradley, he's a higher strikeout guy. Sandy Alcantara, former Cy Young Award winner, didn't play last year. So, and then, Sasaki, we're just going to have to see. Christopher Sanchez pitched really well last year.
Yeah.
So, and with my team, pitching I'm very comfortable with. I know I took a bit of a risk with offense, as far as young players go. So it's kind of just the risk that I wanted to take. And one of the things I like about Matt Shaw, see how he has third base, shortstop, and second base eligibility.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that was he was definitely on my list to target. I'll talk about mine here in a little bit, but no, I'm glad you got him, and I'm stoked for his season. I don't think he's gonna be sent down or anything. I think he's gonna hang right up there with the big boys, and it's his time.
Yeah, and then snagged the most money I spent on a player, I believe, was Jazz Chisholm at 28. So I have a good feeling about him. Obviously, third base and outfield eligibility, but him playing at Yankee Stadium seems like he really likes playing for the Yankees.
Yeah.
And then with the short porch, obviously. So I think a potential 5-tool guy, not only are you going to get some home runs, RBIs, and stolen bases when it comes to the fantasy. So, and then Yandy Diaz and Trevor Story both I snagged for $1. So,
yeah,
Yandy Diaz, he's gonna hit between 280 and 300. Trevor Story, if he can stay healthy, I see him hitting probably 20 home runs, somewhere in there.
Yeah, anything for $1 or $2. I mean, that's worth it already.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, I think you got a good shot here. Like I said, if your young guys come through and they all have seasons like projected, like James Wood and Cruz, both of them can hit the ball. They can steal. Victor Scott, one of the fastest players in the league. We know what Chisholm has. We know what Will Smith has. Trevor Story, we know what he has. It's a matter of staying healthy for him. Caminero is going to hit bombs. Shaw can kind of do it all. Diaz hits bombs. So Contreras, he hits the ball hard. He hits bombs. No, you got a fun team.
Thank you. And now we'll go to your team.
But it's nothing like this. The Queen City Bandits. Would you look at them?
Yep. All right. Do you want to maybe share who you kept first?
Yeah, my keepers, which me and you both had a pretty decent amount to spend. I think you had the most to spend. Maybe did. You and another guy, and then I had I think like $30 below you. I was at, I don't remember exactly, maybe like 128 or something like that. which is pretty good actually. Some people were there with like $40-$50 to spend.
Yeah.
But they made it work. But yeah, Yanier Diaz at catcher. He was definitely on my target list, mainly just because, he's still going to get you probably close to 20 home runs. He's on the Astros, who I think have gotten better. In my opinion, even with losing Kyle Tucker, which is big loss, losing Bregman, big loss. I think bringing in Walker, bringing up Cam Smith, and having a couple other guys up there getting comfortable. A couple years, I think Jeremy Pena is going to have a bigger year than last year. And as you see, he's one of my guys on my bench. But yeah, Diaz, he was on my list. I had Adley and Will Smith, and then Ivan Herrera. But by the time we got to Ivan Herrera, and also I was looking at Austin Wells. I was going to go after him a little bit, but I already had Diaz, and Diaz, he hits a lot. He doesn't sit a lot. He had over 500 at bats last season. I expect him to have the same this season. He's pretty much in his prime. He's like 26. And like I said, he's sitting in that Astros lineup. So Christian Walker, he was actually somebody I was going to keep. I am pretty Astros heavy, by the way, so I might be trying to do something with I might be trying to do something with Pena. Christian Walker, I did want to keep him, but he was my main target for first base, especially what was out there. Michael Toglia was really the other guy I was after, and he went super cheap, super late in the rounds, where I had no money to spend. But yeah, Toglia, I think he'll still have a good season, but he's not going to have an average. I don't think as high as Christian Walker, but they may be pretty close when it comes to home runs. I just think Christian Walker will have more RBIs because, again, he's on, he's got better people on that team. A lot more people are going to get on base on the Astros. Matt McLean, he was one of my keepers. I missed all of last season with a couple injuries, but he's easily a 2020 player. I'm hoping that he gets in there and starts doing his thing, stealing and hitting home runs. That's why I kept him mainly. And it sucks to keep a player all season long before it even starts and not even get any playing time out of him. So I think I'm most excited about Matt McLean. Mark Vientos is one of my keepers for really cheap, $6. Any keeper, if it's somebody you pick up off the bench or pick up off waivers, any free agents, it's going to be $6. So Mark Vientos for $6 is a steal. Hoping for 30 home runs, and he's in that Mets lineup, which got even better this season with Soto coming in. And I think Acuna actually was told that he made the opening day roster. Did you catch that, Luis?
I didn't catch it, but
Ronald Acuna's little brother. So that's pretty cool to see him up there a little more. O'Neal Cruz is one of my keepers. He's got the two spot eligibility, shortstop and outfield, at least for the ESPN league. So this could be the year for him. I don't know, maybe it's 35, 40 home runs, gets me like 30 steals. That's what I need from Cruz. That's what I'm really banking on. Jackson Merrill too. I think he's definitely a 2020 player. I think he only stole 16 last year, but I don't know. I got a good feeling he's going to steal a little more this season and maybe be a 25 player, at least 2020 player. I don't think he's going to get anything less than that. Tyler O'Neill, I got him for $1, I believe, maybe $2.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he wasn't somebody I targeted just because of his injuries, but he still hit like 31 home runs last season. And I think he's going to hit more this season if he stays healthy. And I really have him in my lineup right now because he's absolutely playing on opening day, trying to get his record going and hit another opening day home run, which I believe would be his 5th straight year.
Yeah, and also they lowered the left field wall in Baltimore, or made it a little bit closer, I should say. So that might help out with a lot of their hitters.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm once I started looking at it a little more, I was a little more happy about having Tyler O'Neill, especially for his power. Jerks and Profar got pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact price. Let's see. I think
it was like, more like 4 or 5, I want to say. Or maybe it was a little bit higher. Maybe
it was $4. So he went super late. So I know a lot of people didn't have money to spend whenever he started going. I don't know why he went so late in our draft. But I mean, last season he hit 279 with 24 home runs, 85 RBIs, and 10 stolen bases. So, I mean, shoot, if he can even get anything close to that, I'll take that for $4. I mean, he's in the Braves lineup, so can't ask for much more. Dolis Garcia, got him, I think, for like $13. By the way, my most expensive player I bid on was $20, and it was Christian Walker and Logan Webb. Sorry, I really probably, like I said, I probably could have spent a little more on some players. I could have targeted.
Yeah, me too.
There are some players that I did really want. Jazz was one of them, but he got up to 28, and I was like, and you end up getting Jazz.
Yep.
I wasn't trying to spend an arm and a leg on pitchers just because how fast they can drop. I mean, yeah, I would rather spend it on bats, and I think I did decent. But Brent Rooker, he was my keeper. He's sitting in that DH spot all season long, and he should have hit me a good 40 home runs, maybe more. This could be a crazy year for Brent Rooker. He might hit 45, 50 home runs. But gotta love him for $6. And then on that bench, I had to go with the biggest stars, the young stars coming up. The two getting the call, Christian Campbell and Cam Smith. I couldn't resist, so I did spend maybe a little too much, just because we don't know what they're gonna do. But I believe I got Christian Campbell for 10 or so, and Cam Smith for like 13, somewhere in the range of that. But man, I'm stoked for those guys. Offense wise, how do you think I did? And I mentioned Jeremy Pena, possible 2020 player. Still did pretty decent last season. I believe he batted. He batted 266, 15 home runs, 70 RBIs, and 20 stolen bases last season. And he's projected to have one of his better seasons. I think it's a little bit of a bounce back year, they're calling it, compared to last. So, which really didn't do terrible last year. He just wasn't that exciting, I think, for fantasy. But yeah, as far as my offense, how do you think I did there?
Yeah, I see a lot of home runs in this lineup. A lot.
I hope so.
One of the things I like about Christian Campbell, you see he's got the second base, shortstop, and outfield eligibility. So for a guy who hasn't played any time in the majors yet to already have multiple positions like that, that's pretty exciting. I already had snagged Roman Anthony, so I went ahead and let you get Christian Campbell.
I really only just wanted to get one of those guys, and Roman Anthony is definitely Jack Caglione too was one of my list. I was like, I at least got to get one prospect, even if it's one of the guys that aren't up yet, but one of the more exciting for sure players. And I ended up with two of them, so can't beat that. I also ended up with Spencer Horwitz, which he was not on my target list at all, but I don't know. He's been getting drafted, and he actually had a pretty decent season last year when he did play. And he's not going to be. He is on the IL right now. He'll be back. Looks like April 11th. But Horwitz, I mean, he was a pretty big name for a little while, and he tore it up in the minors. And I don't know how long I'll keep him. Maybe he's someone that doesn't stay on my team long, but it might turn into something. One thing I am lacking is speed. I could use a little more speed. I really have no speed unless, if McLean can steal. I'm hoping, he is. Cruz can steal a little bit. Merrill can steal a little bit.
O'Neill's still one of the faster guys in baseball.
Yeah, but he didn't steal at all last season. I mean, he got O'Neill stole 4 bases last season. So I think Yanier Diaz might even get me more than that. But also Pena can steal too, but so I might need to do something. Go out. I know Jake McCarthy's still out there. Maybe I'll go snag Jake McCarthy or something because he'll definitely get those at least 30 stolen bases this season.
Yeah.
Pitching wise though, my keepers were Dylan Cease, Sonny Gray, Michael King, Jared Jones, and Strider. So I went in there with pretty stacked starters. Unfortunately, Jared Jones is going to be out until probably like June or July. I don't even know what it said. I'm a little upset about that, but yeah, it's pitching. Can't, it's expected. I'm just glad he's not getting Tommy John. But Iglesias and Presley and Estevez, those are my bullpen guys right now. Obviously, I'm missing two. I got three guys on the IL, so I think we're able to start picking up free agents tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I am going to go have to get. I'm already eyeballing a couple, but I'm going to have to get a couple bullpen guys. I know who I'm getting. I'm not going to say it now, just in case one of the guys listen to it or something and beat me to the punch. You're set on bullpen, so I don't care. Yeah. But I ended up snagging Charlie Morton for like $1 or $2, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Logan Webb, I paid $24. Never had Logan Webb before, so I'm pretty stoked on that. Ronaldo Lopez, if he can have anything is close to what he had last season, I'll be happy. And then Strider will be back here, hopefully by next month. So my rotation is good. I do need a little bullpen work, but as long as my guys can stay healthy, man, I'm looking at a lot of strikeouts if I'm looking at this right. Yeah. But what do you think on pitching? What's my weaknesses other than not having a couple spots filled, which is obviously has to get done?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty much the only real weakness I see is staying healthy, I think, is probably going to be the most important thing. Getting Jared Jones. If you get Jones and Strider back, that rotation's it can probably compete with mine. I would say.
I have a little bit of age in my starting rotation. Not crazy. I mean, obviously Charlie Morton's like 41.
Something like that, yeah. But
so yeah, he's probably one of the oldest. But Sonny Gray's a little bit up there. I mean, I guess not. Logan Webb's not that old. Oh, Shiza. Excuse me. But yeah, we'll see. I was in the World Series last season, or the championship. I got my players were just not performing by the end of the season. I don't know what was going on. But tell us what you guys think about our lineups and how they're looking. And it's a tough league. This league's been going on for like 20 years. I think since like 2010 or something. So it's I'm pretty fresh to it still. This is only my third in this league. This is your second. But yeah, some of the guys have been here since 2010 or along those lines. So pretty insane. But yeah, that's my Queen City Bandits, and that's you rocking with the Cool Hand Lukes. Is that your name?
Yep.
Cool Hand Lukes. But yeah, baseball is definitely back. that was what a feeling that was to do the draft though.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it
is, yeah.
It's like any other kind of experience,
There's, it kind of went a little bit different. There's a lot of guys I had on my list. I'm like, all right, I have enough money. I'm spending it on these people. But y'all were bidding me up too high, and it's like, I just can't do it. Especially on the pitching. The pitching was going pretty high this time.
Yeah, I will admit. Yeah, I was saying, I admit that I should have bid it a little bit higher because I ended with $20.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
it happens. It's hard. It's hard to guess. Yeah, it's hard to guesstimate it though. I mean.
Yeah.
But hey, there's always next year.
Yep. I was in the toilet bowl last year, so
Yeah.
as long as I can do better than that,
I'm
I'm
sure I'll
cool.
be there one year. Let's go ahead and do predictions. Do you want me to start this off, or?
Yeah, whatever award you want to start with first.
I'll start with. Let's start with the managers of the year.
Interesting one.
And yeah, so kind of tough one.
It is.
A lot of good managers out there, obviously. I'm kind of going with the hype. I think that's who you got to go with, or the team that maybe wasn't much last year and is already getting big talks this season. And if they do it, I think that's a kind of a given. And for the AL manager of the year, I think it's my opinion, probably going to go to Alex Cora if everything works out right for the Red Sox. Go ahead and shout the Red Sox out again, because they've done everything right. They didn't have I don't know what they finished last season. I know they didn't have they made a run. I know that they had a really fun team last season too. Willie Abreu, which hasn't been talked about a lot this offseason. I think he's in battling some injuries. But if everything goes right for them and they end up, I think we both predicted for them to be divisional winners. I think if that happens and they get, 90 wins, 95 wins, Cora probably and should get it, unless someone else is, obviously completely has some type of crazy record or what. But he's my favorite. I think he's going to win AL Manager of the Year. I'll go ahead and do NL as well, and then you could come in with yours.
Mm-hmm.
For NL, people are going to hate me. Dodgers fans will not hate me, but I am going to go with Dave Roberts. And I'm going to do this just because he's won it before, and it's been a while. I think like 2015 maybe. But if they can come back and have a better team than they did last season and win more games, and I'm telling you, I just, if this team stays healthy, they might have a historical season. I keep saying it, and I don't know. Dave Roberts, though, he's my favorite to win. So many good coaches out there to choose from. Like I said, people might hate on it, but it's the Dodgers, man. They're completely stacked. I mean, if you haven't looked at their roster, just go back and look at it. Just it's unbelievable. Who do you got for AL and NL?
So I'll do the AL first, and that was kind of a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex Cora would have been number 2 on my list for this one. And Mariners fans are going to love me for this one. I know I made a wild prediction, but a new manager in Seattle, Dan Wilson, former MLB player, if everything goes right, everybody stays healthy, the Mariners end up winning division, maybe not winning the World Series or anything, but they end up having a way better team. They didn't make the playoffs the last couple seasons. They end up coming back, making the playoffs with this roster. In his first season managing, I see Dan Wilson winning AL Manager of the Year. NL Manager of the Year, I'm going to go with Torey Lovello on the Diamondbacks.
Nice.
So Diamondbacks not making the playoffs last year. They've added quite a bit to their team. If the Dodgers weren't the Dodgers, I'd see the Diamondbacks winning the West.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do see them still making the playoffs and going pretty far. World Series, it's going to be hard to get past the Dodgers. But if they somehow get past the Dodgers, then I think that even makes Torey Lovello even more of a Manager of the Year candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah, those are both good picks. I'm sure he's up there too in the talks. I haven't really checked. I know that a lot of people are doing their sports betting right about now, right before season starts. I'm sure he's definitely in the talks. But I like your Mariners option, and I know you got a little criticized in the comments for choosing the Mariners to. Did you choose them to win the World Series? Is that what it was? Or no, you choose them to win the
No,
division.
just division. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Hey,
it's good to receive feedback.
yeah,
That's
it is.
that's what we want. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if everyone was the same, it would be boring. And I know that it was a pretty wild prediction. They could
Yeah.
very well be last place this season.
It's
You
not
never
like
know.
saying I don't necessarily agree with the hate on it. It is a wild one, and people that hate the Mariners maybe they can say something, but it's not like you said the White Sox or the Angels. No offense to those fans or anything, but no, I think the Mariners, like you said, they have the rotation to do it. So if their players come through, Randy Rosarina and Julio bounces back, and Kyle Raleigh, big old dump truck, hits 30 to 40 home runs. I mean, yeah, they got it going for them. Let's move on to the next one. We're gonna go with the comeback players. So AL and NL comeback players of the year. This one was pretty tough. There's some good options out there. I could have went with the very easy options, and I won't say them because maybe you went with them, and there's nothing wrong with it because they're easy because it's a very good chance. And one of them, I think, I'm not even gonna say. Well, I'll mention it after. But for my AL comeback, I have your guy, Felix Batista. I think that. Yeah, I think that. I don't know where he'll start. I'm assuming he's going to be probably in the closing role or at least set up to start off. But he's already throwing gas in spring. He missed all of last season, and he's ready to pitch. So I would love to see him have and I think the Orioles are going to have a good team. So a lot of or a lot of save opportunities. So maybe we'll have a big number of saves, big number of Ks, and show his stuff again. For National League comeback player, I have my guy, Spencer Strider. That was a tough one. There's a couple other guys that I think have a good chance as well. But he's going to be back really soon. If all goes well. I'm not trying to jinx it or anything, but he's already looking great in spring. He's supposed to be back, I think, projected here in the next few weeks. So he's got almost a whole season ahead of him. Not saying he, hits every rotations, every spot whenever it's his turn. Maybe they do a 6-man every now and then, or bring in. They got a few guys ready to pitch. They got Grant Holmes in their rotation now. They still have Waldrop down there, Smith Shawver, but I think Spencer Strider. He's probably still going to push. He's still going to get close to 200 strikeout mark. He's got to. I mean, if he was coming fresh into the league, I mean, he's a 300 strikeout possible guy. So I got Spencer Strider and Felice Batista.
Good choices. So the AL comeback player of the year, it was between two guys, one of them being Felix Batista. Mm-hmm. The other guy, man, it was tough, but I decided to go with Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Was that the obvious one that you're probably
one of them? Yeah, just because it's obviously Mike Trout, and it is the obvious one. I do think he has the best chance. It just, I don't know. I guess looking at his stats and how many games he's played, of course I want him to play, but how many games does he have to play to prove a comeback? And I don't know. But if he plays a full season, then we're talking MVP talk.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm banking on.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a good feeling that Mike Trout's going to get back to being Mike Trout. I know he said that last year, but I just got that feeling this year. NL comeback player of the year. You had a good one, Spencer Strider. I'm going to go with my guy, Sandy Alcantara.
Yep, that's a good one.
Year before last, won NL Cy Young, and it's kind of put it on NL. This is assuming that he stays in the National League, even if he gets traded. That's what I'm going with because he could stay on the Marlins or he could get traded. Never know, but assuming he stays in the National League, I'm going with Sandy Alcantara.
So how would that work if he, say, pitches crazy all the way up until All-Star break, gets traded at deadline or something, and goes to the American League and still dominates? Does he become a AL contender or NL, or how's that work?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like that would maybe if he has more games played in the National League, possibly. I'm honestly not
it
too
might just
sure
be
on that.
maybe they just look at his stats as AL. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I guess he would probably be in the running with those other AL guys is how that would work, I think. But no, those are two good choices. He was my second choice behind Strider.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we'll do Rookie of the Year. This was a fun one. I flip-flopped a little bit with this. And for the AL Rookie of the Year, maybe I'm being a little biased, but I do have Cam Smith, my Queen City Bandit. I do have him just completely going off this season and winning that AL Rookie of the Year in a landslide on that Houston Astros team. National League Rookie of the Year. You'll like this one. No other than your guy, Matt Shaw.
Okay.
If his numbers stick and, people like this guy. I haven't got to watch him a ton, but he's been talked about all off season. He was talked about all last year. And when he does play baseball, his numbers are typically pretty good. So I think his defensive stats, he can play anywhere. He's going to get the playing time, and the Cubs are completely stacked. So good team and just a good shot. Now, there are some other guys out there, and I'll mention any of them if they're not yours, but Cam Smith and Matt Shaw are my two.
Yeah, good choices. For me, this was definitely the toughest one, just because there's so many guys you could technically go with, and a lot of them aren't wrong answers. I mean, so I'll go with American League first, and I'm gonna go with the Martian.
Nice. Yeah.
Jason Dominguez. Like I said, AL was tough, but I think with Stanton getting injured, kind of opens up a spot in him DHing and playing outfield, so he's going to get the time. He is a switch hitter, correct? I think.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, switch hitter, power, short porch. Obviously, in Yankee Stadium helps any left-handed hitter. And we saw what he did when he first came up. He did not play at all last year. He did play very few games the year before, and I believe he hit a home run his first major league at bat, and then he hit a few more after that at the very end of the season. So I seen him being a big part in the Yankees trying to win the division. So, yeah.
Let's not forget Dominguez was getting Mike Trout comparisons at one time. And I think that's something to remember. He's gotten like what, Tommy John? Is that what he got? Tommy John? He's gotten surgeries. He's got some banged up, so he hasn't really got to fully be healthy and show himself. Which hopefully that's not a Mike Trout situation where it's like, hey, this is the next big thing and can't stay healthy. But one thing people don't know about Dominguez is he is fast too. He's gonna get you 20 steals. Is he on your squad?
He was, and at the end of last season, it was a prospects trade, which I actually listen to this. The guy who I traded him for that was part of this trade was my NL Rookie of the Year choice.
Yeah.
Mr. Dylan Cruz.
Yeah, okay.
Mr.
Yeah,
Dylan
that's a good
Cruz.
choice.
Yeah, so like especially in the NL, there was a lot of good choices. You could have went
Mm-hmm.
my other guy, James Wood,
Yeah.
Matt Shaw, Roki Sasaki. I mean, there's a
Sasaki,
lot of
yeah.
guys you could go with. I'm gonna go with Dylan Cruz. I think all those guys are gonna have good years. I just see him being a potential 5-tool player, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Because some of these guys, they have more contact and power. They have more power than speed, or they might not have
Mm-hmm.
as much speed. I just see Dylan Cruz having the most of everything. Or I
Yeah.
mean, put kind of all together is what I mean. 5-tool package. So yeah, Dylan
And
Cruz.
that's they got a pretty fun little lineup over there too. I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to be a losing team by any means. They might be a sneaky wild card team this year, depending on how other players play. You hear the sirens?
Yeah.
uh, it's rough out here, man. Uh, no, I like that though. These good options. It was pretty tough. Even Victor Scott, like we were talking about earlier, I'm pretty sure he can still run for the Rookie of the Year. He might be a dark horse candidate for it. I don't know. He steals and he's got a little pop. So I think, and he's got a good glove.
Yeah.
So those three things combined, power and speed, and especially with speed, when you're on defense, it's big thing. So good choices, good choices. um, next, I'm gonna go with the Cy Youngs, and I think I went with probably the two most voted or most basic here. But I do believe that at least one of them kind of sticks out more than the other. So in the AL Cy Young, for me, it's Scooble. I don't think anyone's as good as him. Uh, it was. I looked at Crochet. I looked at even Reagan's. I kind of sat on Reagan's for a little bit. Looked at Logan Gilbert for a little bit. Um, but Scooble is just he's disgusting, man. He's so nasty. Uh, and I think their team also got a little bit better this season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Anything could happen, but for NL, I went with another most basic, and I think NL was a little bit tougher though, and I think there are some maybe even better options in some people's opinions out there. But it was hard not to go with Paul Skeens, and one reason being is they waited for a while. They waited a little bit for him for whatever reason to bring him in last season, and everyone was kind of pissed off about it. Like this guy just pretty much sat down every batter he's seen since he's put on a minor league uniform. Like, come on, like what? That's the only thing that the Pirates had going for him as far as excitement. And then when he did come up, everybody else, stories wrote from there. He goes on to win Rookie of the Year, and I think if he would have gotten, like a handful more starts, maybe like 5 more starts, he probably would have won Cy Young, in my opinion. Not saying Chris Sale didn't have a crazy season, Triple Crown. That was disgusting, but Paul Skeens is the easy answer for me here. Yeah, Skeens and Scooble.
I won't need too much time to explain because you already did it for me. And what I mean
Same.
by that is we had the same guys. Tarek Skubal for AL, Paul Skeens for NL.
Yep.
And for AL, had Shane McClanahan not gotten hurt
Yes.
again, I would have. I'm not saying I would have picked him, but he definitely would have been
The runner-up.
a candidate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Paul
there's some good
Skeens.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's some good choices still for NL too. I mean, Wheeler, I guess, is a good option.
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, yeah, I think he's been getting a lot of Cy Young talk. So I don't know. I think the NL is a little bit more loaded.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease,
Mm-hmm.
Michael King, even some of my guys. So yeah, good choices. Put your money on them if you got any. Next here, we'll go with the last category. What we're doing, we do have the World Series predictions, but we'll do MVP now. And I'm gonna start off with my NL MVP, and people are gonna hate me. I know it's another obvious one, but it's so hard not to pick Ohtani, just because of what he did, what he does every single year. He won it as a DH last season, didn't even pitch, and he's going to start pitching again this year at some point. So he's dominant. You know, he could be comeback. I don't know if he could be a comeback player of the year just because he played last season, actually. But obviously, Shohei Ohtani could win a Cy Young and a full season's worth if he wanted to. Don't know if he'll get that opportunity because I don't know exactly when he's going to be coming back to pitching. Might be not enough innings for him. But when he does pitch, no matter what it is, he's going to dominate. So Ohtani for my NL MVP. AL MVP. This might turn some heads. I think most people's answers are typically Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt, which you can't go wrong there because Aaron Judge is literally on another universe. He's way out there. You can't get there. He doubles literally everybody's numbers when it comes to home runs and RBIs. He's one dotted at the last 2 seasons. He might be a for sure lock 60 home runs again this season. I don't know. But not hoping of this, of course, but you never know what happens with injuries. They do happen. Don't want that to happen to Aaron Judge. We need Aaron Judge in baseball. But I think that'd probably be the only thing that would stop maybe Aaron Judge from winning it, unless Bobby Witt does something different as far as, I don't know. What does he do different? How does Bobby Witt beat Aaron Judge? I still haven't said my answer yet, but it's not either of those two. I'm going with Jarren Duran. Everybody knows what he has. He's played defense. He can hit the ball. He can steal. I think if he hits some more home runs, a little more than what he did last season, I think his OPS is going to be up there. He's going to hit for average. I don't know. I got a funny feeling about it. Jarren Duran. Maybe it's the Red Sox thing. They're clinging on to me and they're grabbing me in, but in that lineup too, I think he'll also get a lot of help. So he's going to get more RBIs. He's going to get more runs scored, which is crazy to think because I think he may have led in runs scored last season. But that's my big two right there. NL, I got Ohtani, and AL, which is kind of the dark horse, I would say, the dark horse candidate, Jarren Duran.
Good options. National League, it's like you said, it's really hard to go with anybody else other than Ohtani right now. Just last year, 50-50. I mean, that's hard to – it's going to be – I mean, you can't beat it. Can't beat that.
He's on another planet too.
And that was a DH. And if he starts pitching again, starts pitching really well, who's going to beat him, in my opinion? It's going to be really tough. So it's like if I go with somebody else, it's almost like, do you just not like Ohtani or something? That's kind of my opinion on it. American League MVP, I do have Bobby Witt Jr.
Nice.
So his numbers last season had not been for Judge, the amount of home runs he hit, he definitely would have won American League MVP in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I'm not saying Judge won't do as good this year, but I think if he takes a step back just a little bit and Bobby Witt does Bobby Witt things, I think he's taking it this year.
Yeah, if you were to go, if somebody wasn't really familiar with baseball today or baseball in general, or I don't know, and you taught them stats and you just showed them Bobby Witt's numbers, like, hey, look, this is Bobby Witt's stats from last year. This is what he did defensively. This is what he did offensively. They'd be like, oh, he's the best, right? Like no one, that's because it's MVP. That's MVP numbers all the way. But Aaron Judge, man, that guy is what a sick guy that guy is.
Oh yeah.
There he
What's
is.
up? What's up, Aaron?
Hey, how you doing? MVP. Yeah, that dude's crazy. And I was looking. I think that the top 10 players in baseball, like all around, Otani, Bobby Witt, Tatis, Ellie De La Cruz, all those players were not available in the draft. They're all keepers, like the best. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a harder draft this year. But all right. I think that's pretty much rolled up. Did you have a stat for us? A fun, wild, crazy, ludicrous stat?
Yes. But first we still had our World Series champions.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I did with this one is I know we were gonna pick one team, but it was kind of tough, so I picked one National League team and one American League team. I think that was kind of fair in my opinion.
Yeah.
If one National League team wins it,
Mm-hmm.
and then one American
Yeah,
League.
I did.
Did you want to?
Yeah, I did that as well.
Okay. We might have had the same one, both of
them. So again, not a Dodgers fan by any means, but geez, man, it's so damn hard not to choose them. Maybe because they did it last season, and if they did it last season, they've gotten more players, better players. Their pitching has gotten better, a lot better, and I think that's the biggest part about it. Not even talking about Otani coming back, just the players they're able to add: Blake Snell and Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates and Sasaki. They got Yamamoto now, another year comfortable in there. Plus, yeah, Otani's coming back. They have Dustin May, who just got that 5th spot. So it's hard not to pick the Dodgers. I still think whoever they play, if they do make the World Series, they'll probably win, especially based on health if everybody's there. I just don't see anybody beating that team. But if anybody was to beat that team, I'm going with my favorite team of 2025. The ones who made the Cardinals fans cry back in 2004. That's the Boston Red Sox. Oh, and
2013.
Oh, 2013, yeah. 06 we won. Yeah, in 2013. So Boston Red Sox are my AL World Series champions.
Yep. This is another situation where you answered for me. That's
yeah.
So I know, Dodgers. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat, and I know we glaze the Red Sox a lot, but that's just because I mean that they, in my opinion,
they did everything right.
Yeah, as far as veterans, young players, everything. I mean, they just maybe they could upgrade the bullpen just a little bit.
Bullpen, yeah.
Kenley Jansen. But if they can figure out the bullpen a little bit more, I know they have some injuries in the rotation.
Yeah.
If they can get that figured out, they have a chance to not only get to the World Series, but win the World Series.
Yep.
My opinion.
They went off this offseason. They made the right moves. They brought in pitching. They brought in bats. You are right, though. They could probably use another good arm or two in that bullpen, like a real solid piece. They did get Chapman, Aroldis Chapman, which I think is very helpful. He throws like 105, so
for like the 16th year in a row.
Yeah. So he stays healthy. He's a good healthy arm most of the time. So yeah, I mean, and their farm system is better than most. They're doing the right things, not only at the top, but at the bottom. So when you don't have, I mean, when you got some money to spend, I mean, they do have money to spend, obviously, but when you're doing stuff right at the bottom too, and you got those players, I mean, you got they're just stacked with players waiting to come up. I don't really know much about their pitching down below, but obviously they still got Roman Anthony down there and Marcelo. So, and I think I said it wrong in last episode. I think I said Mayer, but it is Marcelo Meyer, right?
Mm-hmm. I that ain't correct. Yeah, I probably should have, but
regardless, the guy is an animal, and they'll both be up before long. But yep. Dodgers Red Sox World Series. There's a good chance of it happening.
Yep. And answer your other question, I do have a crazy MLB stat, like I always do.
Hey,
this is a Tony Gwynn crazy MLB stat. There's a lot of these too. One of the best players ever. So, no pitcher has ever recorded more than 9 strikeouts against Tony Gwynn in his whole career. In fact, the only pitcher to record more than 6 against Tony Gwynn was Nolan Ryan.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy is.
But if you go to some of these the many Tony Gwynn stats, there are some insane ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, I think there was like a stat that one of the years that Kyle Schwarber, I think, struck out over 200 times, and Suarez struck out over 200 times. I think in the entire decade of the 90s, he struck out less than 200 times total.
It's crazy.
Which is, it's just insane. So that's my crazy MLB stat of the day.
And just so people can get a little image and a refresher in their head if they haven't heard, Tony Gwynn's stats. So he had 9,288 at bats. He finished his career hitting 338 was his average.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. 338. Wasn't a big home run guy. 135 home runs, 1,138 RBIs, 319 stolen bags, and an 847 OPS. But 847 OPS is amazing to have as a career. But 338 is outstanding. From 82 all the way up to 2001. So,
yep,
a lot of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Always a Padre.
Yep.
Love to the Padres. I'm ready for Jackson Merrill. Well, Luke, I think that's it. This is our longest segment yet. So appreciate everybody that hung in there and listened to our lineups and our predictions. And tomorrow is opening day.
Hopefully we gain subscribers instead of losing some after these predictions. So, yeah, I know my Seattle ones are. Hopefully, I got some Seattle fans watching this one. That would kind of help out a little bit.
Yeah. Did you already do the opening day starters? Did you mention them?
We did, but there were a few that weren't mentioned. I can't remember all of them, but we did bring up a couple more that were announced.
I'll do them off real quick before we end, just so everybody knows. So, games start tomorrow. If you don't know, I believe the earliest is at 3. Looks like.
Yeah, a lot of them.
So Freddie Peralta will face Carlos Rodon. Brewers and the Yankees, Orioles and Blue Jays. We got Eflin versus Jose Barrios. How it's pronounced?
Barrios.
Yeah, I'm surprised he got the. He's a great pitcher. I didn't think he would get the opening day start though. Garrett Crochet for the Sox facing off against Nathan Eovaldi, the Rangers. We got Zach Wheeler, the Philly facing off against Mackenzie Gore, your guy, over in Washington. And then we got Tanner Bybee with Cleveland facing off against Cole Reagans. Maybe another possibly Cy Young sleeper. Clay Holmes getting the opening day start for the Mets, facing off against Framber Valdez, the Astros. Logan Webb, the Giants, facing off against Hunter Green and the Reds. Chris Sale and the Braves facing off against Michael King and the Padres. We got Yusei Kikuchi facing off against Sean Burke, his first opening day start over Chicago White Sox. Everybody's guy, Paul Skeens, facing off against your guy, Sandy. The Marlins. That'll be a fun one to watch. I'm going to have to tune into Skeens and Alcantara. Pablo Lopez with the Twins facing off against our guy, Sonny Gray. Go Cardinals. Tariq Skubal, the Tigers, facing off against Yamamoto with the Dodgers. Shota Imanaga with the Cubs facing off against Zach Gallen, the Diamondbacks. And Luis Severino with the A's facing off against Logan Gilbert, Stetson's finest. And then we got Kyle Freeland for Colorado. And it was supposed to be Shane McClanahan, but that's the one I actually don't know. He was projected to be. I don't know his injury update. As of now, I think it's still. No, maybe it's not because he got hurt this weekend. Don't know who Tampa's opening day starter
I think
is.
it might be Ryan Pepio.
That's what I was gonna think. I believe
either him or Shane Boz. I would believe.
Yeah,
it'd be one of those two.
But all right. Well, that's it.
Opening
tomorrow's
day.
the day. Tomorrow is the day. Everybody will be hearing this. It will already be opening day. So happy holidays, everybody.
Yep. 643 talk.
Peace.
See you guys on the next one.